is up, my totally offensive army and random YouTubers alike? Back again with another video reaction, and this time we're going with a stand-up comedy video. You see, I'm a huge Josh Wolf fan. I have been for the last few years, ever since some of his videos started coming out on Facebook. The practical joke, bachelor party bit. Then there was my son ordered porn bit. I got my brother to OD on weed bit. That type of thing. He's got some really good bits out there. And the thing I like most about Josh Wolf is he's just always himself. He's not a typical purist in the sense of the way most comedians are. Most comedians have this belief that, like, you have to go ahead and pay your dues for 5 to 15 years in shitty bars and shitty comedy clubs. You have to travel over the road and do a lot of shitty shows, and you really have to go ahead and, like, disrespect the fuck out of yourself to make it in this business. And the thing is, those guys will never go anywhere because they don't understand branding, traditional marketing, or how to utilize social media platforms. I mean, heaven forbid, non-traditional comedians like Josh Wolf, who go ahead and, stray away from the formulaic way of joke writing, which is like your premise and your initial setup, and then your surprise punchline. Like, heaven forbid, those guys actually come out and start telling, personal life anecdotes and stories about themselves instead of writing the typical mediocre Tinder routine, awkward date routine, 2 minutes of bathroom material because it's weird filler for the audience, and that type of shit. The way comedians structure things, man, is most of them who aren't really all that talented have the typical telltale routines of a lot of them, and it's almost like a Seinfeld method of delivery, but it's not near as funny as Jerry Seinfeld. Yeah, go figure. But anyway, I just want to go ahead and get into this bit because it's the best practical joke, the bachelorette party, and it's uncensored, which means it's going to differ significantly from the version we all saw a few years back on Facebook. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Long intro, my bad. Comedy's my passion.
My buddy asked me to throw him a bachelor party, right? And so there's a bunch of this that if you haven't seen it live, you haven't seen most of the worst things that happened to my friend. So he asked me to throw him a bachelor party. I said no. And I said no because I know me. And I know that if you ask me to do something seriously for you, I'm not gonna. Like, as soon as he asked me, I was like, well, I'm gonna fuck him up. I'm gonna do something terrible to him, And I said, you don't want me to do this, dude. You just don't want me to. I'm gonna fuck up your day. And he goes, nah, man, you've been to Vegas more than any of us. Just plan the party and get the girl. I said, all right. So I did get him a girl for the end of the party. And one thing, by the way, that I haven't talked about is I did get him a girl. There was a girl in the hotel room waiting for him for the end.
Oh.
But when I told him, I go, you gotta go in that other room.
Now, as compared to what we initially saw a while back on Facebook, the girl waiting for him in the end of the room at the end of the night in the room, that hasn't been divulged. So already we're getting something new in the first minute of the bit, and I like the build up, slowly building up to suspense. The thing with a lot of comedians is they're not great storytellers. A lot of people punch up their jokes and just try to do witty one-liners, two-liners, three-liners, and that type of thing, and just go ahead and throw some surprise endings in there or say some outlandish, vulgar shit just to go ahead and provoke a response from the crowd that resembles laughter. Josh Wolf, an amazing storyteller. There's a few comedians in the world who are amazing storytellers, as well as being able to make those stories funny and have short intervals between moments of laughter. That makes a show pop. That makes you remember a comedy show. When you have a comedian who tells a fucking 20-minute story and you only laugh twice, that's bombing, bruh. You can spin it any way you want to and call yourself intelligent and articulate and different, but you're fucking bombing. Like Suicide Vest style. Mm-hmm.
He didn't trust me to go because I had just unleashed the fury on him, you know what I mean? So the leftists went to somebody else. I was like, I can't let it go to waste. I mean, shit, So I said, all right, I'll get you the girl, man. But I wanted something that entertained me at the top of the store, at the top of the party. And what entertains me is weird shit, guys. I like weird shit. Weird shit makes me laugh.
Me too.
Where did I think I could find something weird for him? I went on Craigslist in Vegas. And I was just looking through it. And, there's so many good, weird things on Craigslist. I'm scrolling through and I'm scrolling through. And I pass all the sex stuff, and I land on the weird. And the weird was 3 words and her phone number. And the advertisement just said, "I'll wrestle ya." And I was like, "Fuck yeah, you will." That at least deserves a phone call, you know? So I call her on the phone. Now on the phone, she told me she was 6 foot 250. On the phone.
Okay.
And she told me that her skill set is she comes to your house, she gets naked, and she beats the shit out of you for a little while.
Sounds like a good date.
Yeah, I was like, well, what time can you get here? And so, she asked me, by the way, she did ask me, she goes, "You want me to send you a picture?" I go, "Oh, you painted a pretty good picture. I know who's coming over." You don't need to validate yourself. All you said is 6 foot 250, and after that it was like, wah, 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 right? Now, so she shows up at the hotel.
So already this differs even more from what we've seen in the original bit that was edited and then put out for social media promotion. And he's dragging the story out. He's building suspense. I'm liking that. He's actually adding more of the finer details in there that weren't divulged initially the first time this bit came about. So that's cool. It's more descriptive. It actually helps with like the imagination and the imagery to really set the tone of the scene.
And I'm the only one there. Now here's the first thing my friend never wanted me to tell you. Ready for this? First thing he never wanted me to tell you is when I opened the door, 6 foot was real. 250. Not real.
Okay.
She was deep into the 3s.
Oh boy.
Deep into the 3s.
Okay, in the original bit, like, he didn't divulge the deep into the 3s either and go all big lady with it. Like, he just said she was like every bit of 6'3", 250. All right.
And I asked her, I go, "Hey, how come you didn't tell me you were over 250 pounds? And she said, "Well, I didn't want to scare you away."
What the fuck?
And I told her, I go, "Hey, just so you know, for the future of your business, anybody who's calling about 250 isn't scared of 300. You could charge me extra, is all I'm saying. But, I mean, you should be charging by the pound, but I'm not your manager, so..."
Oh my god.
And so she was holding a foot-long sub and 24 buffalo wings. And she just waved them at me, and she goes, "You got a room where I could go fuel up before the match?" And I was like, "First of all, fuck yes I do." It's right in there, actually. And I said, "Second of all, you should know that the person you're wrestling today doesn't know there's going to be a match." I don't know if that changes your professional approach at all.
Alright, so his demeanor's even different from the first time this came out in the edited version. Like, he's much more relaxed now. He's definitely chilling. The way he's delivering the story, it's more of a first-person thing, and it's not so punched up, but it sounds much more realistic with the added details. So that's dope as fuck, too. It's definitely a good version.
But I thought you should know, right? So she goes off into her room to eat, I'm assuming. And my buddy comes over and he's sitting down on a stool and I got him blindfolded. And here are a couple of the things that he never wanted me to tell you. He's the squarest square I've ever met in my life. He's marrying his high school sweetheart. He's never seen another woman naked before.
Jeez.
Guys, you understand? This is only the second naked body he will ever have seen in his life. Oh, it's gonna fuck him up, right?
That's traumatizing.
I can't wait, you know what I mean? He sent me a text.
Yeah, this wasn't divulged in the first edited run either. Talking about he only ever been with just like one woman, and this is the second naked body homeboy's ever gonna see. Woo! God damn. Ooh, that's gonna require some therapy to overcome later on.
Text 2 weeks before the party that just said, "Do all boobs feel the same?" And I was like, "Oh my god, I can't wait for this fucking party!" And he told me he was ready. And I said, "Cool." And I call her out. Now, none of my other friends knew what I had planned. So when she walked out of that room naked, collectively they were like, "What the fuck?"
Okay.
And as she got closer, I could see that she still had buffalo wing sauce around. I was gotta get her a napkin, but I was like, "Man, your face is so funny!" So my buddy is sitting there. And here's the thing. He's not a big dude. He's 5'8", 140, if he's wearing a lot of fucking clothes. Like, he's a tiny dude, man. And he was so excited there was a naked woman standing in front of him. His hands were shaking. And he was like, I'm so excited. And I was like, Me too. Hey guys, I just sit back and I was looking at him for a second. Both of them. My buddy, 5'8", 140, blindfolded, trembling like a leaf.
Right.
On a stool, standing in front of him, naked, 6 foot, deep into the threes. And I'm just looking at the two of them.
Deep into the threes is a good callback. That should have been in the original edited version. I don't think anybody would have had a problem with that at all. That's funny.
And I'm thinking to myself, this was a good purchase. Zero buyer's remorse on this purchase. Like, I am already 100%. I have 3 kids. This is already the best night of my fucking life. Like, yes. But I've known this dude forever, man. So I lean into him. I go, man, I just want to make sure we're cool. I know you're married your high school sweetheart and your life partner, but you've got a naked woman standing in front of you. Do you want me to send her home? And he gets serious. He goes, you better not.
He didn't elaborate on the dude's enthusiasm towards the naked woman or some of the social intricacies around this, which made this a much more monumental event. The uncensored bit actually sounds a lot more like plethoric and memorable than the censored bit, for sure. This is definitely different, but in a much better way.
And I said, well, just remember you said that, and let's get started, you know? And I take off his blindfold. And the only word he could get out of his mouth before she ripped him out of his chair was, why? Like that, right? And she yanked him up in the air, and his little feet were dangling in the air. She started tossing around the room like a rag doll, and I was like, that's what I'm fucking talking about! She would jump on top of him, and he had to push her fat out of his face to talk to us. He was like, tell her to stop! How long is she gonna be here? I can't breathe! Why does she smell like buffalo wing sauce?
Okay, this was in the censored version, but it's still fucking funny either way you spin it. Just that alone, the pushing and how animated he is on stage, hilarious. Yeah, that's dope as fuck.
At one point in time, she had her knees on his elbows, pinning him down to the ground, and she was just beating him in the face with her titties, just. And these aren't 5'2", 110-pound, big titties. This is 6 foot. Deep into the threes.
Whoa.
Just.
Oh, so bad. Oh, Lord.
That's how big her titties were. They made that noise through the air. Just. It was like being hit with a tit missile. Just.
I'm having titty nightmares tonight, dog. I ain't even gonna lie about it. Woo! You know what it sounded like? It sounded like, if you close your eyes, it sounded like a titty pterodactyl. Just. You know, like, okay, titty pterodactyl's a new addition, and that's actually really sells the bit. That's dope.
The Rocky movies, when he get hit by a punch and his whole face would go, oh. One titty was like, ga ga ga. So, look, if you've seen the video online, it cuts right now to me talking about her standing here, and him standing here mad.
Yep.
So what he never let me tell you is why he was so mad. So I will tell you. So she stands up to take a rest. He's on his knees. Here's a couple things you need to know that have been happening all night that he obviously never wanted me to tell you. First of all, she's been undressing him the whole night. So at this point of the night, he's wearing boxers, one sock. Oh, it's been a rough night for my man, you know what I mean? It's not been a good time for him, you know? So, here's another thing. By the way, you have to know how much I loved this woman. We all went out and got fucked up after the party. She was amazing. Guys, let me tell you how much of a gangster this woman was. One of my buddies got so drunk he couldn't walk out of the bar. She picked him up over the shoulder, fireman carried him out of the fucking bar.
Yes.
And let me tell you why she was so good. You know how you're kind of bouncy when you're getting fireman carried, right? He's bouncing, and at one point he just looks up and she goes, he just looks up and goes, I think she just farted in my face, right?
Oh my god! Dude, is this bitch single? Because, like, your boy doesn't discriminate. He penetrates. So let me know if she's single. I'll hit her up. I'll party with her for a week straight. I give 0 fucks, dog. Big women need love, too. All day, every day. That's crazy.
She didn't miss a beat. And she just goes, that's right, bitch. Like that. Just what? I love this woman, you know?
Yes.
But so,
Oh my
the
God.
other thing I really liked about her is that she was really passionate about her job. I like people who like what they do.
Why not?
And she paid attention to detail. How did I know that? So her one sock, leaving that on, was important to her. That was attention to detail. That was her way of telling him, hey, you don't get to decide shit tonight.
What?
Because he hated that one sock. He hated it because he could never get his footing. He always slipped when he tried to brace himself, right?
Okay.
So he hated it, so he kept taking it off and throwing it across the room. But every time he did, she would walk over and pick it up, sit on his chest, and put that motherfucker back on him.
Oh my god!
Like a bitch.
Bro, reducing this guy to a toddler. This is way better than the censored version. Oh my god. This needed to be added to the censored version for sure.
Every time she did, there was a little tear that came to my eye. I'm like, I love you so much! Guys, he was head to toe sweat. She had been beating the shit out of him for 20 or 25 minutes. And I know a lot of people think that's hyperbole when I say it. It is not. She was noticeably bigger, more than twice his size. She was legitimately way stronger than him. And here's how you can tell someone is stronger than another human being. Because there were parts of the night, and this still makes me laugh when I think about it. There were parts of the night where she would... The visual is great. Where she would just grab him by the shoulders, and this is how you can tell she was stronger than him. She would just grab him by the shoulders and just fucking shake him. And his whole body. You know what he looked like? He looked like,
Walmart
you know those wind socks out in front of a tire store that he... It looked like he didn't have any bones in his little body. She was fucking him up, you know what I mean?
Oh, masculine.
I was like, oh, she's gonna rearrange his organs. Like, he's in trouble, you know? He was breathing like this. Because every time she got him on the ground, she would smother him with her gigantic boobs, and I guess he couldn't breathe. Because when she moved her boobs, his head would pop up like this.
He went cross-eyed just to make the point. Let me see if I can get that frame back. Oh, where's that? Where's that? Oh, God. Let me go back one. See if I can get it again.
You know? He was breathing like this. Because every time she got him on the ground, she would smother him with her gigantic boobs, and I guess he couldn't breathe. Because when she moved her boobs, his head would pop up like this.
Dude, he's cross-eyed to tell the point. Look at his fucking eyes. Oh, God. That's the way to illustrate a joke.
Like he'd been underwater for 20 minutes, just... Right? So she's standing here. She just fucked him up, and he goes to crawl off the floor. He didn't get up and walk. This dude has no energy for that. He's
Probably
crawling
not.
off.
25, 30 minutes of that.
She's standing on the other side of the room, and she gave him what I like to call 5 feet of hope. Because he really thought he was about to get away. You know what I mean? And she just took like 2 giant strides, grabbed him by the ankle, looked at all of us, and just went...
What?
She was so much stronger than him. Both of his legs popped up in the air, right? Bam! He landed on the ground, and she starts to slowly drag him back to the middle of the room. Guys, he doesn't want any part of the middle. The middle of the room is where the bad shit happens. You know what I mean? That is his sunken space. My man does not want any part of the middle of the room. You know what I mean?
What the fuck?
And he's grabbing at things, but she just keeps yanking him along. And by the way, when she was dragging him slowly like a caveman, she was eyeballing all of us. Yo, I was like, I'm kind of hard right now. Like,
Bruh, this woman is selling it right now. And I wish this shit was in the censored version. My God. Also, if this woman really does exist, I want to book her for a function. I don't care if I gotta go to Vegas to do so. I want to do it.
I'm scared and aroused at the same time. I don't know what's happening to me. She brings him back to the middle of the room. And you'll know why he never wanted me to tell the story. She brings him back to the middle of the room. She picks him up by the ankle with this hand. And with this hand, boing, checks the oil, finger in the asshole, right?
Oh, hell
no. A finger that we found out later still had buffalo wing sauce on it.
That was burned, though.
Yeah, that's why he was so mad. It makes a lot more sense now, right?
Yeah.
Yo, my man snapped. He was just sitting there, and you know when you've seen your buddy snap, they just go dead face?
Yeah, the checking the oil bit was not in the censored version, and probably for good reason. I get it now. Okay, I can see why this version exists now.
Wow. It's just like...
Dude.
And he just looks at her and he goes, I'm gonna fuck you up.
I would too.
She wasn't even nervous. She wasn't scared. She had just been beating this little dude up for almost a half an hour, you know what I mean? She just had digitally raped him. She's got no problems with this dude, you know? And he makes the threat and she just goes... And he runs right at it and screams at the top of his lungs, I'm gonna take you down! Right?
Oh boy.
And he takes off and just starts sprinting. She's just kind of standing there, and he ran into her with everything he had. And, by the way, great form tackle. Head up, shoulder in. It made that loud slap because they were both shirtless, you know. It was amazing. And he hit her hard, and he tried to take her down. And I'm going to tell you something right now. He did not. It happened exactly the way all of you were picturing it happened. Because when his little body hit hers, she just absorbed him for a second, you know? He even disappeared. I was like, hey, where the fuck did he go? And then she just, boom, shot him out of her belly, just, boom. And he slid on the floor, and my friend ran up to him and was like, that just fucking happened to you! And I turned to her to let her go home. Guys, she starts dancing like this. And I'm like, oh, the night's not over? Okay. She told me later, the night would have been over, but he challenged me.
Oh, shit.
Challenges me. And I was like, oh, shit. So she's standing there, and she goes, you want to see my finishing move? You want me to finish him? And I was like...
This is so much more better and detailed than the original censored version by far and away. Like, I can't laugh at everything, because some of it I'm absolutely horrified, but nonetheless, it's still quality, consistent entertainment. This is great. Oh my God.
I had known the finishing move was on the menu. I'd have ordered that motherfucker at the beginning of the party. Are you kidding? Right? You got a finishing move?
Yes.
Let's see that, right? So she's standing next to him. She goes, finishing move? And we go, yeah. She goes, you want that finishing move? And we go, yeah. She goes, finishing move? And we go, yeah. And then she just sat on his head, and we went, no.
Yeah, I remember this part. Yeah, okay.
Guys, this dude's head disappeared.
Oh, it's so bad.
All you could see were his tiny arms slapping her back. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. It was like a reverse birth. It was fucked up, right?
Reverse birth is still a great analogy.
Now, a couple other things. So I run into his dad. And by the way, this is when you know you pulled a good practical joke. Good
okay, I remember this part. I remember this part.
Continue to pay dividends for you long after your joke. So I run into his dad about a month and a half after the party, 2 weeks before the wedding. And he goes to me, he goes, hey, you're not coming to the wedding? I was uninvited to the wedding, by the way.
Shocker.
Totally worth it. So I would trade a friend today for a story like that. Fuck him. I'm going to show you how he uninvited me. This is my favorite part of the story. This is my favorite part of the story.
I love how into this he gets. Just illustrating everything.
You're not coming to the wedding! I'm getting that coming to that wedding. All right.
What reason?
Okay, I'm going to tell you something. And this never gets told, all right? So he developed a nickname that night. I'm part of being a storyteller is answering your own fucking questions. So if you shut up for a second, I will get to it. Thanks. I know you're annoying me from up here. I can only imagine what's happening to the people you're sitting next to. But if it was earlier in the show, I'd address it. But I'm like, I'm going to be out of here in 10 minutes, so she'll just annoy those people too. Okay. So this is the nickname. Okay. So he gets up, and he's walking out of the living room to go into the bathroom to hang himself on the sink.
Fair.
And I have a friend of mine who was there, and he's one of the darkest. He has one of the darkest sense of humor, which is one of the reasons that I think, he's one of my dear friends.
Yeah.
And but he was sitting there, and I knew he had something up his sleeve because he got a little smile on his face when my buddy was walking up to him. So my buddy's walking up to him, and this is the nickname he got. He goes, "Damn, man, you look like a glazed donut."
Oh, God. I'm not sure if it's funny or gross. I want to laugh and cry simultaneously.
So I wasn't invited to the wedding, but I made all the groomsmen glazed donut t-shirts, right?
No.
And when he was walking down the aisle, they all just gave him a "what's up?" Right? And then his mom, the week after the wedding, called me and was like, "Do you have any extra of those cute glazed donut t-shirts?"
What the fuck?
She goes, "I love glazed donuts." I'm like, "Yeah, so does your son." I got her one for every day of the week. My buddy called me. He was like, "My mom loves that fucking t-shirt, man."
Oh, my abs.
But anyways, his dad goes, "You not coming to the wedding?" I go, "No." And he said, "Why not?" And I said, "Oh. Tim didn't tell you?" And he goes, "No. Is there a story?"
I can't remember this from the censored version.
"Do you have a couple minutes? Sit down, sit down." And then his dad used that story as his best man speech at the wedding.
That's great.
And I asked him,
So
I'm like, "Why would you do that to your son?" And he goes, "Tim shouldn't have been such a pussy."
Okay, that was lit. Oh, God, man. Dude, he's such a great comedian. Like, way better than I will ever be. Oh, my God. I can only hope to, be half the comedian he is. Even the way he illustrates the bits with his own body and actually lays down and puts himself in a situation. The way he stands away from the microphone. Even the heckler moment he had, 3/4 of the way through the video. So a lot of comedians these days would come unglued at something like that and just derail their entire act and lose their rhythm. And he was just like, "Nah, you annoy everybody else too. Get the fuck away. I'm doing my own thing. I got 10 more minutes left. Be quiet." And they just carried on with the damn story. And it's a good fucking story. I don't know if you guys realize how hard it is to do storyline material in stand-up comedy, but not everybody can do it. A lot of people try and they fail miserably. But Josh Wolf, that's amazing. The uncensored bit, so much better than the censored bit. Love the fuck out of it. I hope he comes out with another one that goes viral, something to this effect or this equivalent. I don't know if he can top this, but if he does, I'm gonna do a reaction video to that as well. Alright guys, if you liked this video, go ahead and throw me a thumbs up, and if you didn't, hey, it was long, it was the whole thing, this is my passion, it is what it is, shit happens, but anyway, thanks for watching, and until next time, all I'm saying, I'm out. Where's that button?